hopefully you guys can see if I'll be doing it with these other two lights. Okay. The trick is also to get it when it starts to, it's not really setting up, but it's going to stiffen here in a real short while, which means it's not going to run that much. We hope. Only thing is, I wish I had two colors here. Putting it over a single color kind of makes it monochromatic. I was hoping to have a couple colors mixed up in here when I did this. The challenge is I'm uncomfortable standing, and yet if I sit, I risk, somebody mentioned a turkey baster, I think they're right. If I sit, I have to be careful not to get my elbows on the piece. So I've got a little bit on this spoon. I'm going to drop a bit here. So I'm just going to start dropping drops. Leaving areas between them. I kind of wish I had a little black or darker color in there. Now I'm half wondering if I can get away with, of course I am liking how those are clinging that color. I don't know if the ginger, spiced ginger is different enough, because it'd be interesting to say, okay, take, God, I don't want to ruin this. I'll do it here. Take one drop of the spiced ginger, right? Then actually drop, I did this on another piece. I was dropping the drops in the Aquamarine. Of course, I put way too much in there, so it's bled out that spiced ginger. I can see it a little bit. So the concept would be a drop of the spiced ginger. And then be able to drop, oops, that in the middle of it. Yeah, see how different that looks on that background? Man, I wish I had black. Don't have any black swiped in there, and I know I'll ruin it if I try to put black in there. But on that one where I had the teeth, I had the black also in that area. And I got some really nice effects. So since I've already done one of the spiced gingers, I'm going to have to do a couple more like that, so we've got some balance. Just a teeny drop or two. And I don't know, call me crazy. I don't have enough black made anyway. Okay, so then I'm going to put the Bling It with the gold in it on top. So there's a difference between it going directly in that blushing lily or me dropping the spiced ginger in there. I'm going to fill it in with some of the regular ones. make sure I've got to keep my sleeve up but not drop anything in and not lean in on the canvas. Little tricky. I think the idea of a turkey baster is a good idea, even though it probably would get ruined permanently. I'm worried about my sleeves, so I rolled up the sleeves of that other outer shirt I have on. It kind of protects me while I'm working. Okay, now one lady called me and she said she couldn't get this to work. Don't heat this. You're making cells, and so the last thing you want to do is, if you make cells in something, you stop, right, and let them do their thing. So you don't go back and heat them up. So think about this. This is like the icing on the cake, and after you've baked the cake and you put the icing on it, you don't put it back in the oven. So you're not going to heat this. You might take a torch and pop a bubble if you see one, but that's not cooking that's not the same as cooking the resin. It doesn't need to be cooked again. I'm just trying to balance out the difference between those two, so there's a little variation in them. There's the little spiced ginger drops with the Bling IT gold in it. That's not looking too bad. It's interesting, no, you almost can't make a mistake because it keeps finding room. You put it in there and the color that's already in there will hug that clear that you're dropping. You can get really interesting effects just by dropping clear on top of something. I mean, this is kind of where it came from. It was an accident when... Gosh, I'm so tempted to see what happens when it hits that violet, but depends if I want to do... three sections. Boy, this is crazy colors. 3 sections like this, or let it run all the way down. This is starting to have a floral look, even though I'm not stuck with making flowers per se. But yeah. Let's see if we can get I don't know how much of a close-up I can get on that. Okay, so I'm going to add some more drops to these down here. I got to go fast because my resin is going to start setting up here soon. But I want to go back to that first one and put another layer of blue on top of the gold. That's when it really starts to get pretty. So I'm going to work fast here, probably not talk much. notice I'm fixing it with a little bit of blushing lily, like they started to seize up too much. So I'm actually reintroducing that cell color that would have been in there. That original cell color, which is the blushing lily. Okay, so now I'm going to do some interference blue. It's a satin blue. I get the best effects with. I'll do the same thing, a little bit of this into this cup. I know I'm not mixing it on camera, sorry, I'll do my best to show you. This is a little 1 ounce salsa cup of resin. I'm going to put about a half of one of these little taster spoons in it. Stir it carefully because this is just straight mica. It will poof up, especially the satin stuff. It's ultra fine. I'm mixing it off camera because I don't want that mica to poof, but you can see how it looks kind of white, milky white on the camera. Okay, but it's not. It's definitely blue. Okay, so I know it looks white right now, but it will dry to an interference blue. Dad, I don't know what I can do to fix that. I do not want to touch any of that. I'm just tapping it so it looks like it's part of the, it'll dry pretty clear. That's the only thing, you just got to be really, 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 really careful. And I know I'm in a hurry doing this because of the video and because of the time. Okay, now that is going to change. I'm going to grab these other ones down here and finish them too before it won't accept it anymore. Okay, I'm not sure how much you're getting this, but it's already starting to change. We're going to get some really beautiful opal effects in here as this starts to dry. I do like putting the Bling IT Gold on top of warm colors like that Blushing Lily or the Spiced Ginger. I did that intentionally because I knew they really, really intensify when it's dropped in those. Okay guys, well I am going to give us a big picture of it. It's a little strange looking, but hey, it's I guess it's my homage to fall. Anyway, I'll show you guys this tomorrow when it dries. Talk to you soon. Bye. Well, good morning, artists. Leslie here. So, I'm actually going to put this in the middle of the video because this video is turning out to be 2 parts. And let me just say the first part was very questionable where I was going until I figured what I was doing here, where I wanted to go. So what's really interesting, if I can find an area here that you guys can see, there are certain parts where I can see the white of my oval coming through here and the black of that original spray paint, you know, that goes all the way around. And what's interesting is when I did block out areas, and by the way, I did what I call a Gerda Lipsky. That is G-E-R-D-A. That's her first name. Lipsky. L is in love. I-P is in Paul. S-K-I, like you're going skiing. I'll put it in the description. She is well known for doing multiple layers of texture. She's not a resin artist at all, but multiple layers of texture. And then she sees these patterns and images come out that she begins blocking out. And you won't believe where she goes when she gets to the end. I recommend that every single artist go check out Gerda Lipsky. We all have something to learn from her technique no matter what product we're using. Okay? So yeah, I'm going to have this, you guys are viewing this before you get to see the next section that's uploading. By the time you're seeing this, I'm already uploading the other area, the last part of the video. I'll try to do a couple close-ups, not sure how much this camera's going to pick it up. I'm also going to do a short film on my phone because we know it's going to pick up the sparkle. What I kind of want to point your attention to, and I'm not sure if you're going to pick this up, there's areas here where there's little patterns, and on camera it just kind of looks like a pattern. What you can't see is there's texture within this paint. And again, I'm getting this rise here, this beautiful rise where the paint is risen up and the other paint's pushed back. But because of the video and this camera, you can barely see it. It just looks slightly changeable in those areas that I'm pointing out. Masking off that first part of the swipe, really, and just keeping a little bit of those bright colors that, yeah, were too bright to be all together in one piece. But boy, it sure makes these images, florally things is what they're starting to look like, pop. A friend of mine, Judy Sand, said she thought it looked like eggs in a nest, which means they obviously need to be touched up. Another area that really, this is what completely motivated me to keep on with this piece, is how that Spiced Ginger, the Purple Sapphire, and some of that Blushing Lily, which is that darker coral, blew over the green, and you can see that layer of green through this lacing. Pretty darn amazing, and if you really look at the piece, you'll start to see everything below coming through the next layer above. And this is that area where we laid down the clear and then floated the color over the clear. So that's why we're getting this illusion And actually I did let the paint set up just a little bit out here. I let that first swipe layer set up for not long, maybe 15 minutes. Not sure if it, sorry, not sure if it made that much of a difference, but my thinking was let this swipe kind of stiffen up a little bit. So if I, of course, you know, down here I tried to swipe and it failed, or when I blew over, it wasn't really disturbing the color underneath. So I'm actually happy with this. I think this is too white for my taste for how the rest of this is. I'm going to try to work on toning this down and possibly doing one more drop layer here. But as it stands, I know I have a friend that is already in love with this and wants this thing. And I've already had somebody ask me if I could do a second one. And like I said, this was a piece, I didn't say it, I said it to someone on Facebook. I wasn't so sure about this. I wasn't even sure if I was going to put the edited video up. Not that I need to have everything perfect, understand, because I think the whole process of doing these YouTube videos is to say the trial and error, what we all go through. But I was really challenged to finish this, and I really like the direction which it's going. Anyway, I hope you've liked this little recap. I'll have one more close-up with my camera where we'll be able to see some of the more of the patterns in the sparkle. Anyway, hope you enjoy the next section. I just really carefully put down the black and the clear. I will put the links of these little tools. These little silicone tools are invaluable for moving resin around where you want it to be, and then you can warm it to level it out, just warm it slightly. So anyway, see you soon. And by the way, there's only music in that next section, and I sped it up slightly, so it shouldn't take that long to watch. Bye guys. I blocked this out just to pull these shapes and patterns up. Okay, I could have gone further, left it somewhat natural. This is that purple, actually I think this is the Royal Amethyst coming up because that's a purple sapphire. This is your warmer violet. This is your more middle of the road clean purple here. So let's see. We're getting into this spot that really inspired me. Look at all those colors. And then the green coming through that amazing lacing. It's crazy. I wasn't so sure about the Royal Amethyst and the green apple because, you know, purple and bright green can definitely make mud. But in this particular incident, it worked out just fine. So more lacing. That's that purple sapphire blowing over the top of the Royal Amethyst. You can really see the value of those two purples there. There's a tiny bit of the golden diamond, not a little bit more yellow than that spiced ginger, okay? That center area is very glittery. That's the Bling IT Gold. Now again, it's still a little bit bright for this particular piece. I feel like toning it down somehow. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do. We got more lacing over here. I'm loving the close-up of this lacing that we're getting. Absolutely amazing seeing that orange over that purple. And we really didn't get much mud. I was quite surprised. Here's another area that kind of gives that ghosty, weird, see how you can see the darker color and the lighter color? That's what gives that kind of a stained glass look, especially when you're turning it. I'm loving that purple popping right next to the color. So just masking that out just so the colors beneath slightly frame it. I wish I could get a close-up on this where you guys could see where some of the paint is pushed up and some is pushed down. That's just what happens when you have that texture from dropping resin on top of a resin. It creates texture. I'm going to try to pull this back as much as I can so you guys can get a visual of the whole thing. Someone asked me for a photo of the whole thing, so I'm going to try to get that for you. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Thanks, guys.